Welcome, everybody. This is day 21 of the Seance at the Whitney. We are coming really close to the day of the big reveal, so make sure that you take notes carefully. Listen to everything you hear, because you never know if they give it away. This is our schedule. We're going to keep pretty close to an hour. We're starting a little bit late tonight, but I'm still going to try to get us out of here before we run too far over time. The Seance at the Whitney is an interactive indie author virtual book festival featuring author readings, interactive improv mystery game, and book giveaways every night, because that's how we roll this side of the world. If you like the authors you encounter during the month, please go check out our website. There is a yearbook, which I'll show you the link to later, and you'll be able to find all the books in a single click. Super fun. Tonight, our readings are Gary Floyd will read from his book, Liberté Days of Rage, and Mark Love will read from his novel, Your Turn to Die. A fitting title, I think, for our All right, Mr. Gary Floyd, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Awesome. Take the microphone and read out loud to us.
I had just told Diana this is a relatively shorter piece that is from that book. And this is probably closer to a short story collection than anything that I had done before. And there's an awful lot of politics involved with it. And there's a lot of stuff about the formation of the EU, but this isn't one of them. This is actually called Coming to America. We sit on the rocks watching fireworks explode. Calais store, which carries a little of everything and not much of anything, is nearby. It is from a time when small neighborhood stores were little more than houses in the middle of tightly packed communities. Many have been converted into single-family houses, replacing plate glass windows with indented stucco to match the building side. Calais store remains, open 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, for lottery tickets, lotto, and breakfast sandwiches, fishing hooks, lotto, fishing hooks, individual Alka-Seltzer tablets, faded clotheslines, miscellaneous canned goods, candy, and milk twice as expensive as supermarket milk. Only Calais and Kelly, a young protege, work here. Kelly is young, skinny, and plain. Kelly is white. Her eyes have dark circles beneath them, like she's fallen downstairs or lacks sleep. Supposedly, she's from a broken home, dropped out of school, and lacks direction. The girl isn't overly friendly, nor is she surly. She appears to be someone searching to escape. If she does, Calais is screwed. Calais is Middle Eastern. He works like hell, living in a house across the street and behind wrought iron fence. He has gaudy lions out front, frivolities, which he has little time to enjoy. When my wife and I try to stop a development which will increase traffic tenfold, we ask Calais to sign the petition. Calais' only question is, what does the mayor think? City politics at its finest. If the mayor likes it, Calais does too. If the mayor doesn't, Calais doesn't either. Fortunately for us, the mayor is against the development. Once a year, Calais throws a neighborhood block party, sandwiches, potato salad, coleslaw, chips, and drinks. The police and fire direct traffic away from the area people mill around as Calais stereo blares. The store abuts a field where, away from the parents, neighborhood kids smoke pot, socialize, and make out. At one point, Neil Diamond's America plays. Fireworks explode over the field, symbolizing something profound as Neil's tenor adds to the song's poignancy. It is difficult to believe that America is not a country of second chances. 2 years later, I work at an alternative school. Once a week, our kids go to the library. Occasionally, we do something nice for them, giving them $3 for drinks and chips. They always attempt to get more. Sometimes we give in if it's a few cents, and other times we don't. At the convenience store, a Pakistani guy usually rings our students up. I think of how profoundly different his world is from ours. 1 minute, the guy is working from behind the counter. The next, after 9/11, he isn't. We hear he's been kicked out of the country for overstaying his visa. Months later, foundations have been established for the families of police and firemen killed in 9/11, the families of illegals who staff the kitchens of the windows of the world atop the North Tower get nothing. Their workers' existence isn't even acknowledged. On that September day, they just disappeared. Their families, probably illegal themselves, are reluctant to come forward. Many Americans who before 9/11 enjoyed meals over the city rarely, if ever, thought of where their meals came from. It appears to be a fitting allegory for our time. A short time later, Kelly disappears. She's gone to make a new life for herself. Calais eventually sells the store. It'll be a loss for the neighborhood. And I continue to imagine Neil singing dreams to take us there and about dreams they want to share. They're coming to America. The end.
Thank you very, very much. Awesomeness. Okay, thank you for that reading. I appreciate it. Okay, we are
Thank
gonna
you.
share the screen one more time. So that was Gary Floyd reading from his book, Liberté, Days of Rage. Now, Mark Love is going to read from his novel, A Mystery, Your Turn to Die. Mark, are you ready? There's the book.
There it is. Yes, I am, Diana.
When
All
you're
right.
ready, go ahead, take the microphone and read aloud.
All right. This is a scene from Your Turn to Die. Jefferson Shane leads a squad of detectives that investigate major case homicides. He's taking a rare night off to go on a date with Simone, the young lady he's been seeing for a few months now. They're still getting to know each other. Shane takes her for a ride in a speedboat out on Lake St. Clair. The story is told from Shane's point of view. Are there any nefarious tales I should know about? Simone asked. Define nefarious. Let's call it wicked or slightly illegal behavior. I paused. Just being out on the water with her on this summer night was enjoyable. I cut the throttle, slowing the boat as we glided back in the general direction of the house. The breeze ruffled her hair. Simone closed her eyes and tilted her head back, drinking in the fresh air. Well, it wasn't illegal, but it could have been slightly wicked. She bumped a shoulder against my chest. Tell me. Understand the statute of limitations has long passed. You just said it wasn't illegal. It wasn't. Simone reached past me and pulled the throttle back, slowing the boat even more. Tell me. So I did. I was 16 when it happened. One of the benefactors for the orphanage took all the nuns out to his cottage at the end of the school year for a picnic. There were a handful of kids who were brought along as well. That year it was cold and rainy, a miserable day. Everyone was crowded inside. The nuns were in their black and white habits, the kids in jeans and t-shirts. There was one nun, a real taskmaster. Her name was Sister Columbus. She was small, but the toughest person I have ever known. Simone nodded and made a get on with it gesture. Turns out this benefactor had a couple of boats at the dock there. Sister Columbus had a brief chat with him, then came over and thumped me on the arm. Let's go for a boat ride. It's raining out, sister. God doesn't mind a little rain, Jefferson, and neither do I. Our friend says you can drive that little speedboat. When I looked beyond her, there stood the benefactor, nodding his approval. 5 minutes later, we were outfitted with windbreakers and life jackets. The little speedboat turned out to be a 10-foot-long hydroplane with a fiberglass hull and a 50-horsepower outboard motor. The benefactor gave me a 60-second lesson in the controls, cast off the line, and threw me a salute. I motored out away from the dock, and as we hit the open water, a large yacht roared past. I paused in telling my story and turned the boat away from the shore and headed south on the lake toward the Grosse Points. Simone rocked against me as I nudged the throttles for more speed. You'd better keep talking, Shane, if you expect any romance tonight. She unsuccessfully tried to say this with a straight. Up ahead, another boat raced toward us. I shifted, letting him pass about 20 feet off the port bow. As it went by, I guided the speedboat gently through the other vessel's wake, rocking the boat back and forth. Simone turned, leaning her hip against my leg. I dropped one hand from the wheel and wrapped it around her waist, drawing her closer. The waves we just went through is a boat's wake. Depending on the size of the boat and the speed, they can be quite large. It's usually a series of 6 waves, 3 on each side. An experienced sailor knows the proper way to take them, easing his craft over the rolling water. She nodded in understanding. The hint of a smile was in her eyes, tugging at the corners of her mouth, but she said nothing. So I knew the right way to cross the yacht's wake. Instead, I jammed the throttle open and raced the hydroplane over the first roller, through the middle of the second, and then over the third, fast enough to put the boat airborne. An incredulous look crossed Simone's face. You didn't. I did. Sister Columbus was screaming bloody murder as 100 gallons of water flooded the cockpit where we sat. As we crashed back onto the surface, I did the same thing on the other side, racing over the first wave, kind of through the second, and then getting airborne on the third. I gave the wheel a spin and headed further away from shore. She must have been furious. What happened? I shrugged. The last thing I expected. As we came through the final wave, she jabbed me with an elbow. I figured this was when I would be doomed to hell, no matter what else I did with my life. What did she say? Sister Columbus merely pointed at the stern of the yacht and yelled 3 words I will never forget. What did she say? Simone repeated. Do it again. The feisty little nun was having the ride of her life. At her urging, we chased the yacht for about a mile, jumping through its wake from one side to the other. Eventually, we turned around and headed back to the benefactor's place. When we pulled into the dock, he was standing there, waiting to secure the boat. He guided Sister Columbus back to the house, where several nuns helped her out of her sodden habit and into a heavy robe. A towel became an improvised turban. The guy found a sweatshirt and an old pair of jeans for me. All the clothes got tossed in the dryer. So she wasn't mad? Nope. It was the most fun she'd ever had. Later on at dinner, she sat across the table from me, still wearing that goofy turban. I got a big smile and a wink. I can't believe you tried to drown a nun. I told you it was nefarious.
One of my favorite passages from your book. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Gary, please hold your book up so everybody can see it. And Mark's book. You guys, somebody's going to win these 2 great books tonight. So make sure you stay till the end of the evening and see if your name comes up on the spinny wheel of happiness. Thank you, gentlemen, for your readings. Super fun. All right, here we go, everybody. The days are getting shorter. There's fewer of them left to figure out the answer to the mystery. The Seance at the Whitney. At the Ghost Bar inside the Whitney Manor and historic Detroit estate, a world-famous psychic medium has come for an exclusive invitation-only seance. With so many curious about spiritualism around the world, this event promises to connect the living and the spirit worlds, opening doors to mysteries that transcend time and space. But when the seance spirals into a chilling rendezvous with a vengeful spirit and a shocking murder, it falls upon those in attendance to unravel the truths hidden in the darkest depths of the past. A spirit is summoned, vowing revenge on their killer. One of the guests becomes hysterical, claiming the spirit is there for them. Suddenly, the lights start flickering and the wind pushes the windows open, extinguishing the candles around the room. The room, and everyone in it, are thrust into darkness. When the light returns, that same hysterical guest is lying on the floor, dead. Who killed them? Why? Was it the furious spirit or something far more earthly? Our cast of characters in tonight's mystery. The medium, the great Christopher Gare. I think he's locked himself in the bathroom because he's not in the room tonight. His assistant is Donna Newman. The author, Amy Kelso. The socialite, Dawn Menge. I have not seen her re-enter the room either, so we'll have to keep our eyes open for her. The spouse of the lately departed Richard is Jules Nelson. The fan of the great Christopher is Marianne Wieland. The aloof guest, Gary Floyd. The maitre d' of the Whitney is Melinda Falgo, and I am your storyteller. Now, last night, after we broke from our very intense session of Q&A, we were all pretty worn out, and Melinda was ever so generous and kind, and she ordered pizza from Pasquale's and had it delivered. Now, as you all know, Pasquale's recently closed, but Melinda was able to reach the original chef. She has an inn somewhere, and she got us Pasquale's pizza. So afterward, as you all know, we had to take some air. We were all kind of tired, kind of worn out, kind of haggard and ragged, and I had some questions that I needed answers for from the staff. So as I went out in search of my answers and to interrogate the staff, the rest of our cast also broke up to go take a little saunter under the moonlit sky and enjoy the evening air. I'm very interested to hear what our cast discovered on their walks around the grounds. We're going to begin tonight with Donna Newman. Can you tell me about your walk around the grounds?
Put me on the spot here.
I did. I saw you
actually-
leave first. That's why I'm asking you
Yeah.
first.
I actually went in to the tunnels, and I went into the tunnels, and as soon as I went into the tunnels, I knew I made a mistake. I shouldn't have gone into the tunnels. I was not alone. I could feel a presence near me. I could hear whispering. You know, I tried to ignore it. I tried to keep going, but I just didn't feel like I was alone. There was more than one person or ghost that was in there, and I kind of started to get a little scared because they were kind of coming across that they were a little bit more like, why are you here? And I felt like I was disturbing their peace. So I actually turned around and went back because I didn't want to deal anymore. I mean, I've dealt with those all my life. I just couldn't take it any longer. So I got down to the tunnel, and then I turned around and came back.
Okay. Amy Kelso, what about you? What did you do when we all broke after dinner?
Sorry. Okay. I did have to, of course, explore the tunnels because I have explored everything else in this manner, and I still can't believe I didn't know where those tunnels were. So yes, I had to go explore them. And I was walking down, and first of all, I found a piece of paper with an interesting note on it that I feel should be shared. It said,
Okay.
first of all, oh, let me turn off my background so we don't have to worry about that silly background stuff. Okay.
God, what happened?
So it says, here we go again. It's like, what does that mean? And then it says, what Ralph said when he saw Christopher. I don't know what it means, but I found it in the tunnels, so I figured I would share that.
Okay, thank you for that. Make sure that you get that note to the maitre d' so she can turn it over to the police for fingerprint dusting, please.
Good thinking, yes.
Marianne, what did you see when you broke for dinner last? I mean, I saw you like kind of pigged out on pizza, and you were one of the last people to leave the room.
Yes, I was.
Starving as you were. Go ahead and tell us what you did.
I was, and I would like to personally thank the harpy. I'm sorry, I said I would not call her the harpy anymore. To Melissa, thank you, Melissa, for getting us the pizza. It was very good. Thank you. So I was eating my share of the pizza, maybe somebody else's share, and I looked up and everybody was gone. And I thought, okay, I need to find a bathroom or the kitchen because I'd like to see who's in the kitchen in case my sister is still around here somewhere. So I thought I'd go through the butler's pantry, which was pitch dark, but I had smelled the great one's lovely cologne, and I thought that's the direction in which he's gone. So I thought perhaps he's looking for the kitchen or bathroom as well. So I went into the butler's pantry trying to find a back exit, and oh, the smell in there. Oh my gosh. It was like, when you eat fajitas and you take some home and put them in those little plastic containers and they sit for a month and mix that with like the smell of the carcass of a dead possum and that little bottle of liquid that hunters use, essence of deer urine. And I had to hold my nose and I rushed out the back. There was a back entrance and I rushed out the back quickly and found myself in vestibule. And oh gosh, I could breathe again. And then I smelled to my left. It smelled like food. So I thought that was the kitchen. But the door was locked. And on the other end, I saw a ladder and the smell, it was like my sister's perfume. That relatively cheap stuff that you could get, like Michelle, what do you call it? Chanel number 13. And so I started to follow. She wore it well, though. And I started following it. And at the end of the hall was a ladder. And as I'm going up the ladder, I'm smelling it stronger and stronger. But then it was mixed with the smell of like a tiny touch of Old Spice and also some old goat mixed with it and maybe essence of sardines or something. So I thought it must be the ghost of Gary and my sister, especially with the old goat part. And so I climbed up and there was an opening. So I pushed my way through it and I could smell this lovely smell of like bubble gum or cotton candy and maybe some gunpowder and some old moss that maybe had some rotting toadstools on it. And that's where I thought, I think I should stop here. But
that's
I did.
A good idea. Stopping there was a very smart idea. Okay. Thank you for that. What's the word? Aromatic?
Aromatic.
That's the word I'm looking for.
Aromatic.
Thank you very much for that tour.
I get the feeling there was some magic mushrooms on Marianne's pizza.
I'm thinking. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Jules Nelson, what did you do when we broke for the repast after dinner, or repast and dinner are the same thing. That thing we did after we had our repast of pizza. There you go.
Well, Melinda forgot to order me gluten-free pizza, so I went in search of the kitchen first. But then while everybody else was eating, I decided that I'd go check out the tunnels too, since I had never heard of them, and kind of wondered if, maybe I could find a clue that Richard had been there. And when I found the entrance to the shelters and I went in, I kind of forgot to bring a flashlight, so I didn't get in very far. But I could very strongly, well, at least I thought I could. It smells a lot like Richard down there. So I feel like he had at least probably been there recently. I mean, obviously not in the last couple hours, but recently before that, just it smelled like, his perfume and his deodorant, and I just love the smell of my husband. So I swear I could smell him here. So
that Axe body wash stuff. Is that what that was? Okay. I think we've done everyone except Madam Falco. Can you tell us where you went after the
I absolutely can, because I was cleaning up after everybody. We had plates, we had napkins, we had detritus scattered all over the Whitney, and we just simply cannot have that at the Whitney, of course. We do have standards to maintain. One of the places that I did check for refuse was in the butler's pantry. Now, of course, I didn't expect to find any pizza things there, but I did come across a folded piece of paper. I found that quite interesting because only 2 people that I know of had gone into the butler's pantry now that we've heard some people speak, and I found a piece of newspaper. It's not an entire article. A lot of it, as you can see, has been torn off, but it's the Seattle Times.
Interesting.
And it reads, Seattle entrepreneur jumps to death after losing family fortune in embezzlement scheme. Seattle entrepreneur leaps from the famous tourist attraction, The Needle, after receiving devastating news that his family's longtime company was forced into Chapter 11 bankruptcy once it was discovered that one of the firm's financial partners embezzled the company coffers for millions. Now, sadly, there is a picture of The Needle there, but I'm sure the poor man appreciates not having his face plastered all over the newspaper, but it does not have his name. That part seems to be torn off. But I just found it, since Richard Sr., was it, that was accused of embezzlement? That just kind of made me
David,
curious.
yeah, David Jr., Amy's grandfather.
There we go.
Yeah. That is an interesting coincidence. Find that very interesting. Thank you for that insightful information, Melinda.
Absolutely. And
make
please do pick
sure-
up after yourselves.
Make sure that you get that newspaper clipping to the police for fingerprinting.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. And Gary Floyd, last but not least, where did you and Nora go after dinner?
I have to say is that we really, the tunnels really don't bother us that much because we're kind of comfortable with Ghost.
Okay.
But I was over there. I was very nervous about watching Donna having disappeared in the closet or whatever, and then I don't know where she went or whatever. She kind of gives me the willies. I'm a little nervous around her. So I went to and I decided I'd take a look at the tunnels or whatever, and I went down there, and it was really dark and dusty, and there were lots of cobwebs, and I was having trouble breathing. Felt like something heavy on my chest, and so I was like coughing, and seeing a ghost cough really isn't a good sign.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And I thought I heard little footsteps in the distance, and I tried to go after, but I didn't have a flashlight or a torch, and I could be very quiet because my feet don't even hit the ground. But I had gone only part way in, and I turned and I got out, and I don't know what was in there, but I did have a bad feeling of it.
Okay. Wow. That's some amazing stuff we have learned. I'm not surprised you were all so curious about going into the tunnels. That doesn't surprise me. What surprises me is that all of you except Nora came back alive. Considering the history of the Whitney, that's kind of surprising to me.
I mean, the great Christopher's not here.
Well, there's that. There is that.
And Dawn is not here.
So
Maybe they're
those-
still exploring.
Those,
Oh, we still
yeah,
don't know where the mate is.
right. So we have some missing people. Maybe they are still down. I would buy the fact that Dawn was probably, because Troy was probably somewhere still in the tunnels, but I still think Christopher locked himself in the bathroom. I mean, he was pretty close to having panic attacks yesterday, so I'm a little concerned.
He needed a
Marianne.
break from Marianne, I think.
Okay, we're gonna take a few questions. Marianne, go ahead.
Yes, I think the great Christopher probably was in the bathroom. And I'm a little surprised that although I know that the great Christopher must have gone through the butler's pantry, but that the hired help went in there also with that horrible, horrible smell. Now, the great Christopher suffers from the irritable bowel syndrome and sometimes has the explosive gas. But I'm thinking that possibly Miss Donna might have the same problem. So I think he's still in the bathroom.
Concerned that you know that much about the intimate life of the great Christopher.
Well,
He knows everything.
we spent that
Concerned that
intimate dinner
maybe-
together.
I'm concerned that maybe you've taken this stalking thing to its
Too far.
No,
dangerous conclusion.
we did have that wonderful evening in Hoboken.
Well, that's
So,
true.
you know,
That's
with the
true.
Boone's Farm,
Well,
he
that's
does like the Boone's Farm, and he gives it away liberally. But
The wine.
he did eat pizza, and cheese is not his friend.
okay. Mark Love, go ahead. Dig me out of this hole, please.
I don't know if I can top that, but I'm going to try.
Okay.
My question was for Melinda with this segment of the article you found from the
Mhm.
Seattle Times. With the wonders of technology, especially if there's in the header, there's probably a date. You should be able to, with a computer or a smartphone, pull up the actual page, and that may give you information that would be essential to resolving some of this crime.
It's a little fuzzy, but maybe
Aren't
the
we all?
police can do something with it.
Yeah,
wait for the
once you turn over that document to the police, I will make sure it goes on my list of sources to verify. Okay.
Perhaps that would be information that could resolve this mystery.
It could indeed. Thank you, Mark. Wolf, Amy. Wolf, go ahead with your question.
Yeah, this this is for the expert in hidden passages in the Whitney. Amy,
Yes.
is there a hidden way to get from the ghost bar to the tunnels?
How did I get from the ghost bars tunnels? Well, it was because Diana, our wonderful storyteller, had researched it and told us how to get there. It was actually, we had to go down. Of course, we were already down in the foyer having our pizza. So it was through the back way, through the kitchen. I thought I had explored that already, but apparently, yeah, like people in the kitchen, like Melinda, would never let me hang out long in the kitchen to explore. So maybe that's why I never found that passageway before.
The other thing too is that the Whitney has gone through several tours of renovations over the years. Maybe because of all the workmen coming and going, you missed it. And I know that you live on the 3rd floor, so I'm not at all surprised that you didn't know about the tunnels. But
I don't spend a lot of time in the kitchen, I'll be honest. I just
yeah.
order food to be brought up to me. So yeah.
Well, and you know, Cranbrook brats, they get everything they want. So
Okay.
there you go.
Just
Gary
jealous.
Floyd, well, maybe.
This is a question for Amy.
Yes.
Do we have any crime writers that were in the Seattle area recently?
Do we have any crime writers?
Crime writers, Amazon crime writers that were in that Seattle area?
I don't know. I was not. I don't know what other crime writers are doing. So no, I've not been to Seattle lately.
Okay. Anyone else have questions? Yes, Mackenzie, at your heart's whim and desire, you have my full permission as long as I get copies. Okay. um, is anyone else? Marianne, go ahead.
Yes, my question is for the heart or the Michelle. I know you own a gun. Do you chew a lot of bubble gum by any chance? I'm trying to connect the smells of bubble gum and gunpowder.
No, but I
Did
do
you
kick
have
ass
the-
and take names.
You have what?
I do kick ass and take names.
Good. That's what I thought you'd said. I'm so glad you repeated it so that I could get that quote correct for the article. Okay.
I'm all out of bubble gum.
All right.
Well, perhaps you could give some to Miss Newman because I don't think her smell is any better than the great ones.
Oh my gosh, you all heard it here. Marianne just found fault. The great Christopher Gibb.
Uh-oh.
And he isn't even here to know about it.
Or
I'm
defend
sure,
himself.
or defend himself. So once we can find the key to the bathroom, we'll find out if he's still alive in there. I'm a little concerned he may have drowned. Jules, go ahead.
My question is for Melinda. Do you have anything to say about Amy's accusation that you tried to keep her away from the kitchen and possibly away from those tunnels?
Well, I absolutely wanted her to stay out of the kitchen. Do you know how many dangerous things in there? And Amy is not exactly known for her grace. I'm actually quite surprised she's living on the 3rd floor with her propensity to trip and bump into things, drop things, and like balls and toys and things like that. She was ever such a clumsy child. So it was just for her own good.
Always looking
invited
out for
her?
the safety of the Whitney family. That would be you. So dedicated, so loyal, so true of heart. Okay, any other questions from anyone else? Donna, is your hand up?
No, I was rubbing my head.
Yeah, I think everyone's getting a headache tonight. Okay, go ahead, Marianne.
Mona Lisa, could you tell us if you're going to be serving us some dessert? And will it be just dessert or some additives that maybe you've put in there from the kitchen?
Will it be
Ooh.
just dessert or will it be
Attitude.
just dessert?
Dun, dun,
Yes.
dun. Yes, I think we could find some, let's see, egg to pull off of our faces. Some humble pie. But yes, we will have dessert, but not just yet.
Okay, gotta let that pizza settle. Okay, I have one more question, time for one more question available. Amy, is there anything in the chat I need to know about?
Don't think so. Well, other than just some amazing memes, but no.
Okay, I'm gonna check those out, and Mackenzie, don't forget, you got to send those. Okay, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your wonderful interrogation session. Thank you, cast members, for sharing your experiences in the Whitney Manor and the tunnels, and we will learn more tomorrow. I am certain of it. We are getting closer day by day to the answer: who did it? Every day we come into the room, ask questions, collect clues, and we often sling accusations, although the big one is coming in just, I don't do math, but I'm guessing 7 days, just about a week. We're going to be trying to figure out who this really is and hopefully come to a conclusion, because I hate cliffhangers. I have nothing to say about that, is the phrase you will hear from people when they're trying to lead you astray, or if they simply don't know. So keep that in mind. Replays are available on our Facebook page and the website. Wax dripping time, folks. You know this game, super fun. There are the standings. Christopher, Amy, Deborah, Andrew, and Jules rank in the top 5. And there are the balance of our participants. We're all having a really good time. And people are starting to really rack up some nice points here. So let's keep supporting our author friends, and maybe they can walk around with, if not a medal, be some bragging rights. Talismans from the spirits. This is the spinning wheel of happiness time, where we all get to have a chance at winning some books. If your name falls on the spinning wheel as a winner, please send me your address at Diana at pagespromotions.com. If you think I already have your address, please send it to me again, because my inbox is my to-do list. So first, we're going to spin the wheel for Gary Floyd's book, Liberté, and then we will spin the wheel for Mark Love's book, Your Turn to Die. Before we do this, let me just clean up the wheel real quick, because we have this wacky little rule that says you must be present to win. So make sure everybody's that's in their room. And okay, good. We're good to go. Okay, I'm now going to share my spinning wheel of happiness. Amy, please let me know when you can see it. Awesome. Okay, here we go. I'm going to double check that the sound is connected, which it is. Here we go. So first spin is for Gary Floyd's book. I can't tell you how nice it is to have your support in drumming sign language. That helps me make sure we're doing it the right way. Okay, now Mark Love's book, Your Turn to Die. Here we go. Yay! Congratulations, you won another book. See, it's not rigged. It's not really overnight. Congratulations, both Donna and Wolf. You guys get books. Gary and Mark, I'll be sending those addresses along to you as soon as I get them from the winners. Okay. One more thing that I need to make you aware of, because we've got a lot of people from all over the world tuning in to watch the replays on YouTube, and I'm really, really pleased to see all of the engagement we're getting, because that means our astounding authors are also getting exposure for their books. That means your books. So if anybody watching the replays is curious about where they can get the books for themselves, you can go to our website at pagespromotions.com and look for the Indie Author Yearbook. There, you will have an opportunity to click on the cover that interests you, and it will take you directly to a buy link. So there's no long, drawn-out Google searches for you. All you have to do is go to the website. Okay. On February 29th, we are having the big reveal party. We're also doing an extravagant hat contest. So make sure you wear your snazziest, funnest, most extravagant hat, and we're giving away prizes. We're also giving away prizes for other stuff that I'll tell you about on the 29th. Okay, we are cutting it really close. So tonight we're just going to do shots across the bow to give you an opportunity to formulate some additional questions for tomorrow night. So Donna Newman, shots across the bow.
I relate this, have nothing to say about it today. This information didn't, I still have questions.
Well, good. Questions are important. Jules Nelson, shots across the bow.
Well, I was thinking last night after, we had our meeting, and I realized you say you're a newspaper reporter, Miss Storyteller, but your language is very beautiful and flows nicely. So it actually sounds more like a novel. So it kind of makes me wonder about your background. So that's where I'm at today.
Okay, Thank you for that. Amy Kelso, shots across the bow. We're all filled with questions, aren't we? So much fun. Amy, go ahead.
Yeah, nothing today. I'm kind of just trying to process what I learned, and yeah.
Okay, awesome. Gary Floyd, shots across the bow.
I'm interested in what the guy who fell to his death in Seattle has to do with this.
That is an intriguing point. More investigative research for me, I would suppose. Melinda, shots across the bow.
So many people went down into the tunnels, but nobody went to check out the well, which I found was very odd.
I too found that to be interesting. Conspicuous by its omission, I think.
Curious case of the dog in the night.
Ooh, I like it. I like it. Marianne Whelan, shots across the bow.
Well, I'm a little concerned about payback. When the great one watches the replay.
You're cut off.
When he finally figures out how to unlock the bathroom door.
That's right.
You were cut off.
That cheese will keep him in there for a while.
We don't know how long it's going to take for him to figure his way out of that one.
I
Okay.
think this will be Christopher's message to Marianne.
Nice.
Well, I
segue,
almost
Mark.
did when I went in that room. I couldn't breathe. The smell.
Nice segue, Mark. I love it. Okay. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for playing our game tonight. We are going to have another full round of Q&A tomorrow night. And of course, we're giving away more books tomorrow night as well. Come join us for the author readings. That's my favorite part of this whole thing. Yes, I love the game. Yes, I love how creative everybody is, but I'm still a recovering 6-year-old who just loves to be read to. So thank you so much for everybody engaging, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.